Hi guys, how's it going? It is Nanowrimo day 4 and we are actually outside. Do you remember what that is? Yeah, we're in my backyard, we're hanging out, chilling. I just caught up on my word count. I am at 6,380 and I believe that's only 288 words away from the goal for today. So I'll be hitting that very, very soon. And just a little disclaimer, I am going to be using some possibly offensive language in this video, so if you're not a fan of words like whore or prostitution or anything like that, I totally understand, and you can go ahead and just click away from this video. You are not going to offend me if you don't watch it, and hopefully I won't be offending anyone by what I'm about to discuss. So, just wanted to let you know, full disclosure. So I wanted to talk a little bit about my writing today. I explored the backstory of my main character Daya's mother, who was a whore. There's the first instance of it, so you still have time to go away if you don't like that. I think in a previous video I read you an excerpt from my writing where I talked about Daya confronting some whores in Old Bailey, and he discovered that his mom was a whore, and that was her background. But I wanted to explore that some more, and I did that today in my writing, and it was really exciting. It was going really, really well. So I was kind of discovering her story as I was writing it. Basically, Gabriella was born in a brothel. She was the daughter of a poor man that just happened to get a prostitute pregnant, and the woman could not afford to keep the baby, and the man obviously didn't want it, so the brothel owner decided to keep the child because Gabriella was a very beautiful baby, and the brothel owner, who I don't have a name for, so I'm just going to call her M, she decided that she could probably get a profit from her eventually, so she adopted her. As Gabriella grew up in the brothel, she cleaned the beds after clients had been there, changed the chamber pots, looked after the girls and fed and clothed them, and she was brought up in that whole experience, but she was kind of sheltered from that whole lifestyle. She was in amongst it, but she was apart from it. So as she blossomed into a 10-year-old girl, she became very, very beautiful and desirable, and M, the brothel owner, decided that it was time for her to start bringing in some cash, and so she gave her first client, and the man went in there, and after about an hour he came out looking very satisfied, and M asked Gabriella how it went, and she said that she just had the man lay down and she talked to him while she played with his hair, and they both kept their clothes on, and it was very hands off, very PC, and it was like a therapy session for him, and he felt very relaxed and peaceful afterwards, and he wanted to book her for another session right away, and he just felt really positive afterwards. And so anyways, Gabriella becomes this kind of mysterious girl that men go to see, and they come out changed, and no one really understands what goes on behind that door except for M. And then the rumor gets out that she doesn't actually have sex with these men, she's helping them, and so she gets even more popular, and she becomes known as the virgin whore, because she actually hasn't done anything, but she still works in a brothel, so this is kind of hard to talk about, sorry. Yeah, so one day, this wealthy magistrate named Imbrin, he has heard about the virgin whore, and he wants to investigate. So he comes to Old Bailey and goes to the brothel and says, I would like an hour with your finest treasure. And leads him into the room with Gabriella, and she tries to lay him down on the bed to do the therapy session, and he gets really angry that nothing fancy is happening, and he starts to try to slap her around and say, you know, show me a good time, and storms in there, and she's like, what are you doing? You are not allowed to lay a hand on this girl. She is completely pure. And he says, well, you know, I paid my money. I want what I wanted. And M says, if you want her, you're going to have to buy her. And at this point, Gabriella hasn't looked him in the eye, but as he tries to lay a hand on M, Gabriella puts a hand on him to stop him and looks him in the eyes, and her eyes are like orb-like, and they're haunted and just incredibly like a deep well of sadness and pain and suffering, and he's so drawn to her and magnetized by her. He's like, okay, anything, I want this girl. And so M says, well, in order to buy her, you have to give me half of all of your gold. And he's like, well, I already paid you everything I had in my purse that I was traveling with. She said, no. I mean, half of every single piece of gold that you have right now and will ever earn. And he says yes, he's already fallen in love with her, or lust, or whatever, and he needs this girl in his life, and so he pays for her, he shakes hands, and basically she is his property now. So I will read you an excerpt that I wrote today. Please bear in mind that it is very rough. This is not edited, this is how it came out. So, here we go. He couldn't keep his eyes or his hands off of her when they were finally alone together in the carriage. Gabriella was looking out of the window at the passing landscape like she had never seen anything like it before. Imbrin thought maybe she hadn't. He didn't care. He let her fingertip trail around her collarbone, tugging at the top of her dress. She continued to stare out of the window, ignoring his advances. He sat back in a frustrated huff and banged his cane on the top of the carriage to stop. He opened his own door before the coach could even climb down. He stuffed a gold coin in his hand. Walk back to Highcroft and don't look back. Do as I say. But, sir, the carriage and the miss. That's her ladyship to you. Now walk on, man, before I change my mind about that coin. The coach turned in the direction they had been heading and walked straight without looking back. Once he was over the crest and out of sight, Imbrin pulled the girl out of the carriage, making red marks on her arms where he grabbed her. He forced her to the ground, her head inches away from the wheel of the carriage. Listen to me, because I am only going to say this once. You are mine now. You belong to me. It is your duty to do as I command, and to love me. I want you to always meet my eyes. I want you to passionately make love with me. I want you to bear me sons. I want you to be my partner in this life and the next. I have already bought and paid for you and made my choice, but now I will let you choose. Life with me, or death. He let the reins of the horse slip an inch, and the wheels inched toward her head. He searched her face for a panic or a feeling, something. He wanted to get a rise out of her, to ignite the embers of the haunted soul he saw within those eyes. She showed no sign of stirring. He breathed a heavy sigh, resigned to smash her head in before living a life with a passionless woman. Just as his arms raised to let go of the reins, she spoke, as if from the bottom of a deep well. I could have a family of my own? He had to stoop down to hear her. He straddled her and leaned in face to face. Yes, my darling, a family of our very own. He watched as her cheeks turned pink and flushed. Ever so slowly, warmth was coming to her face, and tears glistened in her orb-like eyes. She gazed at him and gave him a faint ghost of a smile. A family of my own. So, I was pretty happy with that, and this is getting long, so I will leave you guys. Hopefully I continue to be able to explore these backstories and get some really good in-depth understanding of the minor characters so that it strengthens my understanding of my main characters, because obviously the way that his mother was treated by his father is very important, because that's sort of how his father treats Daya eventually. Gabriela dies giving birth to Daya, and pain and chaos ensue. So, yeah. Anyways, I will talk to you guys later. Bye.